Have you ever been disrespected and not known how to handle it? Have you felt as though people were trying to take advantage of you and nobody was taking you seriously? The movie Sinners, starring Michael B. Jordan, was not just a cinematic masterpiece. It was also a masterclass in persuasion, confidence, and walking tall in a world that keeps on trying to push you down. Hello, my friends, and welcome to today's video. Today we are diving into the hidden lessons behind Sinners. It's a movie that is not just entertaining, but packed with messages on confidence, persuasion, standing up for yourself, and protecting your dignity. And I want you to make sure that you watch until the end, because after we go through all of the clips, I'll share my biggest takeaways from the entire movie. And I think it's something that everyone needs to hear. My name is Kwame Christian. I'm the founder and CEO of the American Negotiation Institute and the host of the #1 negotiation podcast in the world, Negotiate Anything. I'm also a business lawyer and an adjunct professor at the law school that has the top-ranked dispute resolution program in the country, and I am bringing all of that experience into this reaction video as we break down some of my favorite parts of the movie Sinners in a way that allows you to speak your truth, lead with confidence, and get what you want out of life. And now, let's get to the breakdown.
You hardwood?
You boys twins?
Nah, we cousins.
Well,
That clip was just 8 seconds long, but we have two significant moments of disrespect. The first one is that Harwood ignores their question. That is a very subtle but significant power play. And the second one is more obvious. He calls them boys, which is incredibly racially charged and offensive, whether it's back in the day or today. So that's him trying to dominate the conversation and put himself over them. And I loved how one of the Michael B. Jordans responded here. He says, "Nah, we're cousins." And so that was intentional. He saw the disrespect, but he answered with humor and confidence. The smile was important. He's saying, "We're not rattled." So they let him know very nicely, "You can't shake us." And that's a great example of how you respond without overreacting. You don't need to have a big reaction to every instance of disrespect. And when you zoom out and you think about your everyday interactions, the majority of times when somebody disrespects you, it's an accident. It's unintentional. But if it becomes a pattern, if it happens more than once, now you have to address it. I like to give people a pass on the first one, but the second time, we're going to have a conversation.
I thought y'all was dead set on buying the place. More time I spend with y'all, the less sure I am you boys are serious about it.
Ain't no boys here. I just grown men. With grown men money and grown men bullets.
I didn't mean nothing by it. Just the way we talk down here.
We'll take it. The mill, the equipment, and the land that it's standing on.
He said it again, and now this is a pattern, and now it needs to be addressed directly. And this was the last time he used that word in the movie. So you see, as soon as he said it, one twin looked to the other and said, "Okay, here we go." And the other twin started to stand up slowly while not breaking eye contact with Harwood. And so that's not just physical, that is also symbolic. What's happening is we are turning up the dial of assertiveness. It's like, hey, listen, I addressed it the first time. You didn't seem to get it. So I'm going to keep on turning up the dial of intensity until this boundary is respected, and it will be respected. So one twin stands up and says, "Ain't no boys here," and starts to put his hand to his gun. And the other twin de-escalates and says, "Just grown men," and then smiles and says, "With grown men money." So he's trying to cut through the tension a little bit, because in his mind, the boundary's been set, but we need to refocus on the deal. So I love how they work together in this situation. And I also want to pay attention to Harwood here. He backed down. He backed off of this, right? You could tell he was intimidated by the situation, but notice his strategic use of the word just, right? So if you are in a conversation and you have a habit of using the word just, a lot of times what you're doing is you're undermining what you're saying by softening what your request is or softening a boundary that you're setting, right? So what he was doing strategically, appropriately, was turning down the dial on what he said. He's like, "Hey, it's just the way that we talk here," right? So he's like, "Yeah, you took it as offensive. No. I'm going to sprinkle in that word just to take down the intensity and soften what it is that I said." And then he apologized and said, "I didn't mean anything by it," right? So he understood, he backed down, the boundary was set, and the word never came back up again. And most importantly, they were able to set that boundary and still get the deal done. In this scene, one of the Michael B. Jordans asks a little girl to be a lookout for him. She accepts his offer, but you will never guess what he does next.
Can you tell time? And I'm gonna pay you 10 cents for every minute that I'm gone. Will that work for you?
Yes, sir.
No, ma'am. See, we talking numbers now. And numbers always gotta be in conversation with each other. You understand? You gotta negotiate. Now, 10 cents just won't work for you. Talk another number back to me.
50 cents.
20 cents. Best I can do. We got a deal? Good.
Love
Jump
this
in.
clip. So what's the lesson? You don't get what you deserve in life. You get what you negotiate. If you're not looking out for yourself, it's unlikely that anyone else will. You have the right to ask for what you want and deserve. That's true for everyone, but it is especially true for women, and especially true for women of color who often face some of the biggest wage gaps out there. A lot of us in these types of situations don't ask for what we want. Why is that? We're afraid of losing the opportunity. We're afraid of hurting feelings or damaging the relationship. But often, it's simply because we prioritize other people's comfort over our own needs. Once you start negotiating and standing up for yourself, you'll be shocked at how much more you can get out of life. And all you need to do is ask. You owe it to yourself to live the best possible life. And sometimes you will have to fight for that. And that's okay. It won't always be easy, but it is always worth it. Remember, you are not just fighting for yourself. You're fighting for all of the other people who win when you win. Your family, your friends, and everyone who looks up to you. Don't prioritize their comfort over your value. Stand up and speak up. That's how we change the game. What if confidence wasn't about what you said, but how you moved? This is how you carry yourself in a world that says you don't belong.
Let's go. Take on.
Thanks, twin.
Oh, is that Delta Swell?
Now, this seems like nothing, but you have to remember, this is Mississippi in 1932, deep in the Jim Crow South. He's a black man walking through the train station where his presence alone could be a threat. That's where we are. Now, you might not be dealing with that same level of hate, but we have all been in places where we felt like we didn't belong. You see this walk? It shows you how to stand tall in a situation where society is trying to make you feel small. If you want to be accepted, you need to act like you belong. Don't ask for permission. Every single step you take is an announcement to the world that says, I belong here. That's presence. And that is how you convey status. And that by itself is persuasive. Look at how he carries himself. Clean, confident, composed. And what does he do when he sees his cousin lagging behind? He makes sure that he doesn't fall behind. And what he's really saying is, don't slow down, don't shrink, keep up and stand up. Because when people are afraid, they lose confidence. And when they lose confidence, they make themselves smaller. We think confidence starts in the mind, but it often starts in the body. When you walk tall, your mindset will follow. This is just like UCLA's Jalen Hands when his teammate dropped his head after a mistake. Look at this. What does Jalen do? He didn't just say, keep your head up. He physically lifted it for his teammate. And that's the vibe. Walk like you mean it. Carry yourself like you are meant to be there because you are. This applies today as well, especially when you walk into rooms that are new to you, when no one looks like you, and when you feel like you don't belong. When you carry yourself like you matter, then you will speak like you matter. And when you speak like you matter, people will believe that what you have to say matters. And remember this point. Sometimes you need to act confident in order to become confident. There is one big mistake that people make when they're communicating without confidence. But in this clip, Michael B. Jordan shows us how to avoid it in less than 10 seconds.
You still nice with them keys?
Depending on who you ask.
I'll give you $20 to come play at our juke tonight.
Yeah, I wish I could. I'm gonna be a messenger tonight, same as I am every Saturday night.
What they pay?
For a gangster, you sure had a lot of questions.
They ain't paying you $20 a night, I know that.
You ain't paying no $20 a night.
Direct, clear, confident, no extra words, no filler, no stalling. Here's the mistake people make when they are not confident. Sometimes they talk way too much. They over-explain, and that kills your message, especially when you're making an offer. When I'm negotiating or having tough conversations, I follow this simple rule. Speak 30% of the time and listen 70% of the time. Fewer words means fewer mistakes and more power behind the words you actually do say. Say what you need to say and nothing more. Make your words sharp, precise, and easy to receive. That's confident communication. Say less. Most people talk themselves out of influence, but this is how you hold it without even saying a word.
No, Slim, I'll drink to that.
Ooh. What you got there, boy?
Everything was done with purpose. It was not sloppy, not rushed. No wasted motion. When someone moves like that, even when they're doing something as simple as opening a bottle, it tells you something about them. It says, I move with intention, and I expect the same level of intentionality and professionalism from you. Every gesture is a signal, and every move is marketing. You are showing the world how you do business and how you expect to be treated. Look at his face. He is locked in, mesmerized. Michael B. Jordan didn't push, he didn't beg, he created curiosity. It was a performance so deliberate that it created its own story. If you would have said to the guy, hey, I know you want this, do you want some? The plan probably would have backfired. But when you create curiosity, people lean in. You don't have to force it. And sometimes the more you push, the more they resist. So don't chase. Attract. If you want to walk in a way that commands respect and carry yourself in a way that is as protective as it is persuasive, remember this. Convey, don't convince. When you convey confidence, clarity, and purpose through the way that you walk, talk, and move, people will feel it. Your body language will do all of the heavy lifting. Your energy speaks before you even say a word. First impressions are made in milliseconds. There is real research behind that. People will make snap judgments on status, confidence, and competence immediately. So be intentional. The way that you speak, the way that you walk, the way you shake hands, the way you listen, it all matters. One of my favorite podcast guests, legendary FBI agent and body language expert Joe Navarro, told me this. When I asked him, what do people get wrong about high stakes communication? He paused for a moment and then he said this: everything matters. Everything. So your job is to move through the world knowing that every action has an impact, and that impact should be working for you, not against you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Listen, if you are at this point, you did enjoy it. So please give us a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel so we can produce more content like this, because our goal is to change the world one difficult conversation at a time and give you the confidence you need to step up and stand up when it matters most. Appreciate all of you. I'll catch you in the next one.